Okay, picture this. You're in university, you're having the time of your life, you're out with friends, you're partying, you're making amazing memories, but you've run out of money for the rest of the semester. What do you do now? Hey guys, welcome back. Quinn Danniels here, and in this video, I'll be giving you 7 practical tips for saving money in university. Something that I think everyone should do, regardless if you're in university or not, is creating a budget for yourself. Now, this is arguably one of the best and most effective ways to save money because you're not only thinking about all the money you have to spend and where you're allocating it to, but you get to actually see where you're spending that money and where you should be toning it down or allocating more money to those areas. Depending on your financial situation, because everyone's different, you need to decide how much money you're letting yourself spend every month on your budget. Personally, no matter how much money you're making from your job or however else you're getting income, I don't think if you're a student in your university, you should be spending more than $500 to $1,000 per month. I'm only including the $1,000 because if you're including rent in your budget. And I know in big cities, rent is super expensive, so if you have to spend up to $1,000, make sure most of that is your rent. So once you have your monthly budget set and you know how much money you're letting yourself spend, you need to divide your budget into categories. Now, there are many categories you can choose, but the best ones I like are rent, if you're deciding to include that in your budget. Food is a big one. Drinks, and by drinks, I mean alcohol, coffee that you're buying from Starbucks or Tim Hortons. Another category I really like to have in there is clothing and personal care. So if you're going shopping in the month, or if you're getting your nails done, your hair done, or you're buying makeup, that's something else I would also put in your budget. Entertainment is another one. Entertainment can be going to a restaurant, going to a movie or a concert, anything like that. And usually those things don't happen on a regular basis. So if they are really expensive, it's okay to have them in there every month. You just have to adjust based on having those in your budget. Gifts is another one that people sometimes add. If you have to buy a birthday gift or a Christmas gift for someone, that can also go in your budget. And lastly, school supplies is a big one because textbooks are expensive. If you have to buy accessories for your computer or notebooks or pens, anything like that they use for school. So once you have that all set, you have your budget, you have your categories, then you can start seeing where you're spending your money. Now, some people will spend more money on food than things like clothes or entertainment. And once you sort of see these trends, you can start to allocate that money to other areas. Now, the second tip I have is be strategic with how you obtain your textbooks. University textbooks can be so expensive, and you can end up spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on textbooks that you either use for 1 or 2 classes or only use a tiny little bit of for a section in one of your courses. Now, I find this extremely annoying because I hate overspending for things that I don't even use. So, there are 3 great ways to save money on textbooks that I have here. The first is if you simply search the textbook you need for your class and add PDF or free version at the end of your Google search, and sometimes ones will come up that you can use. They have a free PDF online that you can download. But if you're more like me and less comfortable with using sites like this and you want to use something more secure, I would suggest either buying ebooks, which can be found on Amazon or other sites that are similar. But the great part is you're not charged for any shipping or the cost of a hardcover or paperback book. So you often get a great price reduction because you're not paying for these things. And they're really easy because you can have them on a tablet or your computer, and there's no messing around with heavy textbooks and carrying them around to class. And thirdly, my favorite option of all is creating an account with VitalSource. Now, VitalSource is an amazing website and company because once you've created your free account, you're able to save up to 80% when you're renting e-textbooks from this company. You just have to search which textbook you want, and there's a million options to choose from. I have used VitalSource myself, And when I purchased this textbook, I was able to rent it for 150 days. And you can see I still have 41 days left on my rental period. And the book was originally $130 from our school library, but here on VitalSource, it was only $50. Now, my third money saving tip is a big one, and one that people usually don't think about until months later when they see their credit card bill. Buying your food at the grocery store versus going to restaurants or getting takeout is so much better for saving money. But in order to save money on food, you need to start planning more effectively. And like I mentioned at the beginning, you need to think about your budget and how much money you're willing to spend on food each month. And before I forget, make sure to go like this video and subscribe to my channel for more personal finance tips and tricks and some great real estate topics. But getting back to your food and how you can save money on it, I know a lot of you are going to say, man, I wish I could cook, I really do, but I'm stuck in a tiny dorm room and don't have any cooking supplies. And I know first year students definitely have this issue because they're usually in a really small dorm room, and yes, they don't have any cooking supplies or anywhere to even cook. So something I suggest for those people is starting with a very light meal plan. If your school offers different types of meal plans, get the smallest one because it allows you to obviously still have your meals for the week, but you're not overspending on a meal plan that you're not fulfilling each month. And by doing so, you'll be more cautious of the food you're eating and how much you're spending with a lighter meal plan. So you can definitely save there. But for all of you university students who can cook and have the ability to cook, it is always your best option. Even just making breakfast or dinner at home can save you so much money, and you avoid overspending on restaurant food or takeout services. You can also get so much more food at the grocery store for the same amount that it costs for just a couple meals at a restaurant. Which brings me to how you're actually going to save money at the grocery store. If you're aimlessly throwing snacks in your cart, you're not actually going to save any money, because I know what it's like to shop on an empty stomach, and you're definitely just going to throw things in your cart you definitely don't need. But if you create a simple meal plan, it can help you in so many ways when going to the grocery store. Now, by meal plan, I don't mean that you have to start counting your calories and avoiding foods that you really enjoy, because I know this is often associated with meal planning, but I'm simply saying that at the beginning of every week, decide what you're going to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the next 7 days. And when you go to the grocery store, stick to that list that you've made so you're not aimlessly throwing things in your cart. Now that you've got your food under control, you have to start thinking about your drinks. Now, this is a controversial one, not because of the money saving standpoint, but because most people are going to say, I don't want to do that. But I'm going to give it to you anyway, because I know how much money it can save and the difference it can make for your budget. So, I would suggest try and limit your drinks every week. Drinking and going out with friends can add up to a huge expense, and you can spend hundreds of dollars without even realizing it when you're out and partying with friends. And we all know that partying and drinking is a big part of university for some people, and it really adds to your experience. Now, if you're like me and don't care about drinking, then you're already on the road to saving so much money every year. But if you love your drinks and love partying with your friends in that way, then I'll give you some tips on how to help save some money there. I suggest making or ordering drinks that are cheaper so that you can have more, but again, you're not overspending for them. So find some alcoholic drinks that you still enjoy but are on the cheaper side. And I find that the most effective solution for this tip is either one, only drinking on special occasions, but if you like to drink more than that, making a deal with yourself or a friend to limit yourself and penalize yourself for going over your drink limit. If you've decided that, okay, I'll set a 2 to 3 drink limit per week, then you have to commit to that number or penalize yourself. For example, you have this 2 to 3 drink limit, but you go over and have 2 extra drinks one night, because you're out hanging out with your friends. Make a deal that next week you can't have any drinks to offset the ones you had this week. Or make a rule that for every extra drink you had, you have to spend an extra hour studying. Now, these are just quick examples, but the idea behind this is giving yourself a penalty that's pretty unattractive and brutal if you actually have to do it, because it'll keep yourself accountable and it'll make you want to stay within your limit of how many drinks you can have per week. Again, coming back to my first point I made in this video, having those drinks in your budget is super important because they really do add up. And if you notice that they're too high for your budget, then you should start making your limit smaller and smaller and try these tips I just gave you for your drinks. Now, similar to alcoholic beverages, and something that may cost even more, is drinking coffee. To save money, I suggest one of three things. Either quit caffeine altogether, which is great for saving money and even for your health, or limit your caffeine intake, or find a more cost-effective solution for buying coffee. Starbucks or Tim Hortons might be really tasty, and we've all gone through a phase, either in early high school or early university, where we way overspend at these places and we buy drinks and snacks with all our friends because we think we're cool, but then you have so much debt in your Starbucks account. By that, I just mean you're overspending at these places when it can be easily substituted for something way more cost effective. Buying a big box or tin of coffee at a grocery store is way more cost effective, and you can wake up in the morning and make your coffee before you go to school, which costs about 60 to 70 cents, and then when you're going to school or work, you can skip the Starbucks or Tim Hortons line and avoid spending $3 to $6 on your coffee. While this might not sound like a huge difference, it adds up over time and you can end up saving so much money on your coffee bill. But if you're someone who doesn't even like coffee very much and would rather have something fruity like a smoothie or something warm like a hot chocolate, again, the same money-saving tips apply. If you like a smoothie, buy some juice, buy some fruit and some ice and whip up a smoothie at home, or buy some packaged hot chocolate at the grocery store. All coffee shops are usually overpriced, and even the ones that aren't still get you to spend way more money than you need to at these places. So do your best to either 1, quit caffeine altogether, 2, limit your coffee intake, or 3, buy your coffee at the grocery store when possible. Now, moving away from food and beverages, something that I find is a great money saver and can become kind of addicting is buying and selling clothes on resale sites. As someone who loves new clothes on a regular basis, and especially when the seasons change, I've been known to spend lots of money on clothes, especially when they're overpriced. And if you're like me and like good quality clothes or high-end brands, resale sites are a great way to still get that great quality, but paying a much lower price for it. For women and men, I think Poshmark is a great site to buy clothes on and even sell your own. A good rule to have is 1 in, 1 out. Poshmark has brands like Aritzia, Lululemon, Levi's, American Eagle, and even extremely high-end brands, but this is a money-saving video, so I'm not going to encourage you to venture over into that much money for clothes at this point. But selling something of yours at the same time that's still in great condition, but is something you either don't like or don't wear anymore, or even just doesn't fit you, put it up on Poshmark and you can make a bit of money back that can either go towards the new item you want or it can be saved. Now, my 7th and final tip for you is a big one, so make sure you're listening close. Stop tapping your credit card. There is nothing easier than tapping your credit card for every purchase you make, but that needs to stop right now. There are 3 other options for paying that are way more cost effective, and I'll tell you why. First, cash is a big one. When you can see and feel money, and you can see it leaving your wallet and you're physically giving it away, you actually feel a greater connection to that money, and you have this guilty feeling inside when it's gone and you can't see it or it's not in your possession anymore. Now, I find that this really deters me from spending more money because I hate seeing my empty wallet. So by using cash, you're actually becoming more aware of the money you have and when you're giving it away. Now, if you don't use cash, as most people don't anymore, you can either swipe or use your PIN number when paying with your credit card. This has a similar effect to cash because you have to physically either swipe or enter your PIN number when completing a transaction, and you have to confirm several times that this is the amount you're willing to pay. Having to do this and pressing OK 2 or 3 times actually makes you more aware of the money you're spending, and again, just like cash, makes you more reluctant to spend more money. Okay guys, we've officially come to the end of my 7 practical tips for saving money for university students. Hopefully you found some good tips or tricks that will work with your lifestyle and help you to start saving more money. Just remember that budgeting is the most effective way to not only see how much money you're spending, but start to think about how to reduce that cost. Be strategic with where you're obtaining textbooks to make sure you're getting the best bang for your buck. Cooking is a great way to save money, even if it's just simple foods. Nobody's expecting you to make Gordon Ramsay meals every night. And reducing both your alcohol and caffeine intake can really help you save a lot of money. And even though it's one of the more challenging tips, it can arguably save you more money than some of the other ones I've given you. And don't forget, you can check sites like Poshmark for great quality clothes and even resell your own to make some extra money back. And finally, do not tap that credit card. Make sure you're either using cash, swiping, or using your PIN number. Keep yourself accountable wherever you spend money, and make sure you know exactly where every penny is going every month. So now you guys are all set to save money in university. So don't forget to go hit the like button and subscribe to my channel because both of those things are very free. And don't forget to comment anything you've learned or any questions you have because I will be responding to all comments. So see you guys next time.